G'day guys, we've finally made it. The weather looks like it should be okay. Now it's just a matter of testing this out to see how we go. This will be an interesting experience, having never set this up before. I've got a good idea of how it's supposed to go. Let's see if it works the way I hope. It seemed like a really long winter this year, and during the winter I was busy putting this trailer together so that we could get it out and go camping. The idea is to have something lightweight that has a lot of storage and is going to be a central hub or a base camp, and we then use the four-wheel drive to get out to perhaps slightly more remote areas. And we use the four-wheel drive on its own sometimes, and with this camping trailer at other times. Now, some of you may have seen a little teaser that I did some months ago when I started building this. I bought it as a bare bones trailer. It had the top on it. It's a little 6x4, I think. Not a very huge trailer, but strong enough, lightweight, and has good clearance, although it is not an off-road trailer. It's not something you want to drag hundreds of kilometres down corrugated roads and go climbing mountain tracks with. But it'll be something we can get to a relatively good spot and then use the 4x4 to go out from there. And now I just repeat the process on this side so that we've got somewhere to cook, and that's basically the trailer set up apart from the rear awning, which we may or may not need. I may set it up later on just to see how it all looks, but I won't bore you with this bit. I'll just set it up and we'll show you the camp once it gets a bit closer to completion. We're pretty close to ready. The shower tent's up, awning and annexes are up, and cooking gear is out. Now what I'll be doing later on is, I think we'll probably do a roast tonight, so I don't want too much standing up work to do, so I'll chuck it all on a pot and get it hot. So over here we have the fireplace and the fire pit. Not going to be making use of the standard fireplace. We've got our own fire pit here, so we'll try and do the roast in that in the camp oven. And tomorrow I'll have a much better look at everything. A little bit tired at the moment. Been a full day out, so now it's just a matter of sitting down for 5 minutes and having a beer. Well, I think that's worked pretty well. Wasn't that hard to set up. The big problem I've got at the moment is I don't know where anything is, which is why we're doing this test trip. So I have to sort it all out properly tomorrow. I'm going to have to go through everything and make sure I know where all the utensils are. Yeah, there's just so many things that I've lost track of over the time I've been sitting waiting to go on this trip. Yeah, it's just a matter of sorting it all out, and once that's been done, I think this will work pretty well actually. So we're going to do a little introduction now to what it is and what it can do and what I've put on it. For those people who didn't watch the build is on our Patreon channel. If you really would like to go and see that, you can join up for as little as a couple of bucks a month, and helps us do more of this and do more filming and do more exploring and do our core videos, which is exploring WA and telling you all about different places. And we need different ways of doing it. The last main trip we did this year was with the coaster. It was the wildflower trip, and if you've seen that, you'll understand that this is quite a different way of travelling. So let's get started, and we'll start at the front. Standard 50mm ball coupling on the front of the trailer, which I'm not going to bother to show you, but in the front here Okay, so this is the front box. Underneath the jaffle iron we have a battery box fixed in place that runs the trailer lights. That's all it's meant to do. It doesn't have to do anything else. El Cheapo PWM regulator there. We've got a line that comes out of the front that runs to an Anderson plug to the car, and the other wiring goes through the back here into the main part of the trailer where we've got our lighting. What we're storing in here is mostly the electrical stuff, anything we carry with us that needs to be charged. So we've got the fan here, we've got a Mozzie light there, not much else at the moment. We've got an Aldi cooking set and the jaffle iron. Tent pegs, and on the side there we've got a battery charger. I won't bother you showing you that, it's only a cheapie. So eventually we'll upgrade the battery and the regulator, but for the moment that's what goes in the front box. Now if you follow this wire up to the top, mounted on top now is a 200 watt fixed solar panel. It's only a cheapie from King's. I don't expect to get 200 watts out of that. It doesn't have to produce much power to keep the lights going in any case, so it was a nice simple cheap option. Had a good mounting kit, and it was easy enough to put up there. Again, if you want to see how that was done, we've got all the details of building this trailer on the Patreon channel. So starting on the right hand side as we're looking at the front of the trailer, we have a King's awning, and that's matched up with an Aldi annex. Very useful to have covered area. What we're thinking of doing is, once we get the chance to buy another annex, we're going to add one to the other side, where at the moment we just have the awning, the roof part of it. Now we figure the reason for this is we're cooking in the open at the moment, and cooking in the open can be a pain in the bum sometimes, especially if the weather turns a bit wet, or if there's too many flies or too many mozzies. It's nice to be able to get away from that. So the next stage of the build for this will be adding an annex. Hopefully we are looking for one coming up at Aldi. Aldi seem to have a slightly better quality of gear than the El Cheapos at the other stores. Looking at the one that we've got on our car, we did a review on that some time ago. Everything seems to be just slightly better. The thickness of the material, the metal, the way it's put together, the fact that supports go through 2 holes instead of 1 hole. Just in general, the Aldi gear is slightly better. It's cheap. It's not going to be as good as the really expensive stuff, but it's better than things like King's. And both the awnings we put on the trailer are King's. How long they'll last, I don't know. We're going to find that out in a big hurry, I guess. But I have seen people using them for quite a few years, and they're still quite happy with them. So they are flimsy, these things. They're not going to stand up to strong wind, so that is going to be one of the issues we'll have to keep an eye on. But I think if we have the annexes on both sides, that will also help stabilize them. When you've got that weight there holding it down as well, and you've got contents inside the annex, that will make them less prone to wind damage, I think. Time will tell, I guess. So at the moment this is the outdoor kitchen. We've gone through the Coleman cooker before. If you look back through our videos, or I'll put a link below perhaps if I remember. The long table here, another bit of Aldi gear. We've got an absolute ton of gear from Aldi. If you've been watching us for a while, you know we buy heaps of stuff from them. It's not starting very well. Well, there we go. Well, that took a bit longer than I thought to get going. Just underneath the roof here we've got a little light. It's good quality, has both amber and white light. A little bit later on tonight I'll switch that on and cut that in, so that you can see what it's like at night and see the kind of light that it throws out. We had it on last night, making use of it for the first time at night. Did a really good job, puts out a very bright white light, and when you put the amber on, it's a nice sort of restful light on your eyes. And of course the amber lights don't attract insects as much as the white light does. We're moving to the back of the trailer. If you saw the video we made of the Upper Murray, you'll have seen this originally sitting on the back of the 4x4. But when I decided I wanted to put a new boat rack on the car, this came off, and the idea then was to put it over the back of the trailer. And as you can see below it, we have the toilet and shower tent. Again, Kings, as you'll see from the brand name at the bottom, so it's not the best quality. There's a lot of improvements that could be made to it, but it'll do for now. And it fits beautifully on the back door. It just sits inside the back door, rolls up, and it's very easy to put out. We have made an adjustment to it, and we've added a couple of tent poles to the outside of the arms just to give it a bit more structural stability. Now the big thing I don't like is this silly little pocket. They could easily have put more pockets than that around. That's not enough, not sufficient. Even for a cheapie, that's not going to cost them more than couple of dollars to add a couple more pockets in there. And what it could do with, where I've currently got my toiletries bag hanging, you really need a zip in there to get to things at the back. Even if it's mounted on a car instead of the door of the trailer, you still need to be able to access things behind this. And as you can see, we've got shelving in there on the back of the trailer door. It would be really useful to be able to access something in there through a zip. We may eventually try and do that ourselves, we'll see. That's yet to be determined. And as you can see here, it's just a matter of drilling a hole through and putting a tent pole to make that really a much more stable arm than it is without anything here. It stops the canvas from blowing around in the wind, keeps everything nice and tight, and really helps that arm support the tent, I guess. Now at the moment, because we're only set up for a couple of nights, we're not going to use the Julka hot water system. We're just going to boil a kettle, shuck the water in the bucket down there, and use that as our shower water. And we've got the old El Cheapo 12 volt shower handpiece, and those don't last very long these days, unfortunately, but it'll do for now. It's working at the moment. We picked it up for next to nothing at an op shop, so we will be making use of that today for sure. And when I got the trailer, there wasn't a spare wheel carrier on it, which was a nuisance, but I've installed this one. We've put it through a main support on the back door, so hopefully that's going to be fairly strong. I'll keep a really good eye on it when we take it down its first corrugated road and see how it's faring. And we're still making use of this queen size airbed. It's touch wood, still behaving itself. We hope it continues to do so for a while. Again, I'll put a link down the bottom to the original video I made on that, so you can have a look at how it works, how easy it is to pump up. It's one of the ones that has an inbuilt pump, so yeah, if the pump breaks down, you throw the airbed away basically, because there's no other way of pumping it up. And it's a 240 volt pump, so you have to have an inverter. We've got an inverter in the back of the 4x4, so that's not a problem. We just run an extension cord out from the car to here, and we can just flick the switch and it will either inflate or deflate. Very comfortable to sleep on actually, these type of airbeds, but not all of them will stay inflated. We had a Coleman before this that was an absolute nightmare, used to go down in the middle of the night, and thankfully we did get our money back on that one. This is an Intex, and as I say, touch wood, so far so good. Okay, for those who haven't seen the inside of the trailer before, it means you haven't been on our Patreon channel. I ain't nut. All the inside is detailed, the build of this trailer is detailed on the Patreon channel, as I said before, but if you haven't been on the Patreon channel as one of our supporters, you won't really have seen much of the detail of this. and this was what I put together over the last winter. We'll start off with the switchboard here. This is the line that comes through from the front battery, feeds into, firstly the positive line goes into a fuse box, and then we have a negative bar here, and everything feeds out from there to the other systems. Here we've got a T-plug. A lot of the gear we use in the coaster uses T-plugs, so I wanted to have an adapter here just in case. At the moment that's plugged into a cigarette lighter adapter, and today we've just got the little cheapo shower in there. This is our main light for inside. These are the light switches for the outside, two of them, one on each side of the trailer. We've got amber and white, so it's a 3-position switch. You will note I used something rather novel for the switch box. We've got hidden away in there, we've got an Anderson plug, so we've tried to come up with as many connectors as we can. Up here, if I can find it, when the shower's not plugged in, we've got access to just a USB port if we need to. That just plugs into the cigarette lighter adapter. Down the bottom here is the gas bottle, and we have a water inlet that's coming down to two 43-litre tanks. On-off valve here, so we can just shut off the access to the water from the top. The two tanks are connected by a line at the bottom there. I've still got a little tiny leak there that I've got to sort out. Another inlet over here, and because we've got the tanks connected together, they will automatically balance each other up. I don't want too much weight on one side or the other. The big black package there is our big tent if we ever need it. Move up to the side here, we've got some hooks along there. These are the old Audi bar lights. That's what this one is up here. I've made use of one of them for that, but there's still, I think, 5 in there that I'm not making use of at the moment. Behind that, the hose pipe, that's for doing water fills from taps outside if we need to. Trolley for moving around water, and the porta potty. Fixed in place shelving unit there with a couple of drawers that slide in and out. The bottom drawer I couldn't move because of the lip on the shelf, and that's just screwed down tight on top there. A couple of removable milk crates which can double as seats if we ever need extra seating. I want to put a cargo mesh net of some sort here that's easy to take off, because it would be really good to store all the sleeping bags and the light soft stuff up there. At the moment they'll just completely tumble out the minute the trailer moves, so I can't put them there. They just sort of sit in the back area down here. We put the blue matting in as a floor, and as you can see that helps with the leak. And a little tiny leak coming out of that green connector there, I'm going to have to tape that up some more. It's been a really difficult end to stop the leaks on. You can see there's an awful lot of silicone jammed around it at the moment, but I have to dry it all out and fix that. What else have we got in here that's worthwhile looking at? More hooks on this side, and I guess that's about it for the inside of the trailer. If you want to see how it was all put together, then hop onto the Patreon channel, shout us a coffee, that's what everybody says, every month, and you'll get a whole bunch of extra videos and content that you don't get on the YouTube channel. So that's the internal. We have some shelving on the back door here that's extremely useful for carrying little bits and pieces. And the problem being, of course, that it's not easy to get to all that when I've got the shower tent up. We do have a pop-up shower tent which we can use, but for the moment we're just trying this one because it's the one we've got attached to the trailer, and we just wanted to see how it all worked. Now, we've only had this out for one night so far, so we don't have a lot of ideas about changes or anything else we need to do to it just yet, apart from just adding that annex on to the kitchen side so that we can do kitchen preparation and that sort of thing undercover if we need to. The annex and awnings on these are very, very easy to set up. They're easier. We've got a big cabin tent. They're much easier to set up than that. Your basic framework all comes out of the trailer where the annex roofs fold up, or roll up I guess I should say. So very, very simple, not that strong. I would not like a big wind to come through with this all up, but I'll be a lot happier once this side is covered in and we'll have a bit more stability with it. As for my thoughts so far, I think it's working out pretty well. We'll find out tomorrow morning, I guess, what it's like to pack up. That's going to be the first main pack up. See how long it takes us. It really took me a very, very short time to get the basic structure out when we set up here yesterday. So the setup will be probably a little quicker than the pack up, it usually is. And it's really the odds and ends that all spread around the kitchen gear and the toilet, all the rest of it. That all takes more of your time than actually setting up the main structure. Just setting up the annex and the awnings and putting up the toilet tent itself, that you can probably do within about 20 minutes. Wouldn't be much longer than that anyway. But so far pretty happy with the result. We'll do a bit more testing I guess as we do slightly longer trips. We've got a few things we need to buy that I forgot to buy. This was a bit of a mess because I hadn't really had a chance to check through the gear properly. We find there's quite a few things missing that we've got to we need to add on, but fairly simple stuff. Bigger cutting boards. I don't have anywhere near enough guy lines. I thought I had them packed away, but I didn't. So a bit of work to do in that respect. But from just last night, I guess I would say that I'm pretty happy with the result. It works well and is easy to set up. Tomorrow morning we're going to find out how easy it is to pack up. As an alternative to using the shower tent, we can actually use the trailer as the outside dunny. That's if we don't need to take a shower, and that's the setup here. And of course what you do is you turn the light on in there, close the door, and you've even got a dunny roll sitting right here. So very convenient, and just means one less thing to pack up. So for today we've had our showers, and so I don't have one more thing to do tomorrow morning when we're ready to go. We just use the dunny in there overnight. Pretty easy way to do it. If you enjoyed this video, it'd be really great if you could give it a thumbs up, and if you like the channel, just click on that subscribe button down the bottom there. Click on the bell so you get notified of our updates. We have a new video out every Saturday morning at this stage, and yeah, I hope to see you back here again next Saturday with whatever it is we happen to have filmed. Guarantee you there's going to be something, because we are now stocked up until January 2022 with videos that are ready to go. Well, that's it guys, see you in the next video. Cheers.